duct tape entirely to a pole and your hands and feet and mouth is bound with duct tape, here's how you're gonna escape. You could also moisten your lips if you can't get your hands free and do that first. And now we're gonna just either tear this if we can or squat. Okay, we're just gonna have to tear it open. Of course, only do this if the opportunity presents itself. Only if you can escape will you do this. All you need is a little tear in it. This is on pretty tight. There you go, here it comes. There we go. There we go. Stay. All right, thanks for the question. I'm gonna just do an example here. So I'm getting duct tape on my wrist first. So I'm gonna work at getting that off. So what you're gonna do is you can drive your elbows forward and try the same techniques I've shown in my previous videos. And if you can't do that, okay, then we're gonna do my legs as well as put it over my mouth. So until it goes on my mouth, I'll continue talking. So you're gonna try and drive it through, and if you can't do it that way, you're gonna try and find a surface to create some friction to remove it. Okay, so here goes.
If you can't find a corner wall, use any surface that you can create friction or a tear on.
There we go. Sorry, I turned off the light there by mistake. And now I can bend over and create the tear just by ripping it. And there we go. That's how you do it. Stay safe. What to do if you're duct taped to a tree. If you're lucky enough not to have your mouth bound also with duct tape, you can actually take your teeth and try to make the tear, which I could try and do right now. Okay, I'll continue to work on that after. You can try to drive it through, but it might not work just because the tree, no. Or you can move your wrist back and forth just to get some leverage in there. What also works is spit. So you could spit, or if your hands get sweaty, you can also use that. So just to loosen it up, because if we can loosen it up, then we can get one of our hands out, or we can use heat and friction of the tree. So I'm gonna try this one too. Or we can do a little bit of both. Arm hair. All right, it's coming. You just got to keep working at it. It's actually loosening up a little bit, so get one thumb out if you can. Good job, come on. There we go. Oh, nice. There you go. If your legs are bound by rope and you are getting bound to a chair with rope, here's what you're gonna wanna do. When the perpetrator is actually putting the rope on, you're gonna wanna try and expand your body as much as you can, obviously without them noticing, of course, so that when it's time to escape, you can have a lot of slack. Okay, now I'm going to try and make my body as small as possible. And again, every situation is different, every chair is different, and it's gonna take some time. And obviously you can only do this if the opportunity presents itself. Thankfully, this chair is short, so if we can get the rope, there we go, over. There we go. Okay, we're out of this one, And this one you can either do two ways. It's tied pretty tight. You can use your teeth or your nails to get out of it this way, or you can take off your shoes. Let's see if I can. And just wiggle your way out. That's probably easier for me. All right, if your arms are duct taped to a chair, here's what you're gonna do. So I'm duct taped pretty good. I'm going to really punch my elbows outward so I can create a tearing motion in the duct tape, because that's where it's at its weakest point. If it doesn't work, we'll see what happens from there. That one got out. This one, not so much, but if your hand was free, you can easily just tear it off yourself. That's how you get out of duct tape to a. How to escape if you're zip tied to a tree, both your hands and your feet. All right, so what we're gonna do is, like my other videos, I'm gonna drive my elbows back towards the side of my rib cage and try to make it snap. If that doesn't work, I'm gonna go down and use my shoelaces. That worked, amazing. Now, there's no way that I can actually snap it this way. I'm gonna try to do the squat. Let's see if that works. Nope. You know what? It probably has to be tied tighter. Okay, because when it's tighter, it actually helps because there's more tension. Let's try that again. Nope. All right, so now go back and forth, creating some tension and heat from the tree, but I don't think that's gonna work either. So we're gonna do the other method, which is the shoelace. So we're gonna tie both shoelaces, okay, into a knot. See how I've done that? And I'm gonna have to just pull. There we go. I couldn't drive obviously because they were zip tied, so I had to just use my strength and force it through. Either way, we escaped. Now just get that shoe off and get out of here as fast as you can. I had posted this before, but many of you were asking if the escape method would be different or more difficult if my hands were bound with tape behind my back, using multiple layers and even a crisscross. I tried the methods that I previously used and it wasn't working. So I found an edge by the corner of a wall and I rubbed the tape up and down to create friction, which caused the tape to tear. You just have to try everything. Here's how to get out of a hog tie. If you're hog tied together, basically wrists, legs, everything attached, you're gonna come up and yeah. Oh, we're gonna get up, and if you notice, my legs are actually still tied, so we're gonna tighten these as much as possible. And then use that squatting motion or a snapping motion. I'm gonna try, nope. There we go, and we're done. If you're being tied to a pole with rope, the important thing you have to remember is that when the rope is being put on, try as hard as you can to separate your hands to create a wedge and some space. That way, when it is time to escape, it's on pretty snug. When it's time to escape, you're gonna actually put your palms together, just like this, and you're gonna wiggle your wrists around, and in a hand washing motion, just keep rubbing and they'll eventually give. There we go, it's coming. There we go. Don't give up. When your life is at stake, there you go. And we're out. If you are bound with duct tape, your hands and feet to a steel pole, here's how you're gonna escape. When you are getting duct tape, if possible, try and keep your hands in a fist. So that way you can leave a little bit of slack. So when the time does come to escape, you can either maneuver out of it by twisting your wrists together, or you can leave your elbows out and slam it. And if that doesn't work, which it doesn't seem like it's going to on this one, you're gonna have to use heat and friction. This might take a while, especially on a steel round pole, but you can't give up. And when your life is at stake, you just can't give up. So you just keep working it and working it, twisting. This one might be, oh, here we go. And as you see, I'm actually starting to sweat. So the water actually allows the glue to not be as sticky. You just gotta keep working it, rubbing. It's getting hot, but I'm getting up. There you go, guys. Once that's done, your feet are bound. You could have also used your teeth if you're flexible enough. And now we're gonna all we need is a little tear. Once we get the little tear, we should be able to break out of it. There we go. It was worth it. All right, guys, stay safe. All right, a lot of you have been asking about the thicker zip ties and if there's a difference in how to escape them. Other than being a lot more difficult to do, I'm going to show you. It's pretty much the same method. So once your wrists are in the thicker zip tie, the tighter the better. So let me tighten it up here. Okay. Instead of driving the elbows through the sides of the rib cage, I'm gonna use a harder surface, so I've bent down and I'm gonna use my shins, okay? So stick it up, nice and tight, and we're gonna drive it through. Ready? Big breath, and drive it through. And there you go. If you are tied to a pole with rope and your hands are also bound with rope, here's what you're gonna wanna do to escape. When you are getting bound, what I need you guys to do is open up as wide as possible so that when the time comes to escape, you can shrink your body and allow the movement to actually loosen the rope. So right now, it makes it a little bit more difficult because my hands are also bound. But as I've showed in previous videos, in order to get out of this one, you're going to move your wrists to loosen up the rope and use a hand washing motion to get your hands free. All right, just keep trying. It does take some time, but it will eventually give. And once your hands are free, you should be, there we go. All right, so now that my hands are free, you should be able to get out of the rope. Then if you can, find the rope ending and actually let yourself out, if that's possible. If not, you can just kind of shimmy its way down and step out. Don't know that I could do that, but we're gonna try. It's coming. Try to remain calm. Every situation is different, and remember to only do this if the opportunity presents itself, okay? Go. All right. And we're done. Stay safe, everyone.
Many of you are asking about getting out of rope that is tied behind your back. When being tied, try to make your body larger and your hands in a fist so that when you do relax, your body will shrink and the ropes will loosen. Most people are not experts in rope tying or knots. Try to remain calm and focused. Place your palms together and just keep rotating your wrist back and forth to loosen the rope. It'll eventually give.
How to get out of zip ties. Important thing to remember here is if it's not tight enough, tighten it yourself. That real tight impact is actually gonna make an improvement here to get out of it. All right, you're gonna drive by opening, okay, your elbows are gonna stay open, you're gonna drive it right through your rib cage. Ready? Just like that.
Here's another method on how to get out of zip ties. There are many different scenarios and methods. I'm going to use my belt in this one. Take off your belt and tuck it under your hand that's zip tied to the chair and loop it over. This may take some time, but stay persistent until you get it. Once you finally get it over, you can then secure it to the other end of the belt. Once it's secure, you're going to lift your foot and place your foot inside the belt. With a nice leg thrust, you're going to snap it open and do the same thing on the other side. Remember to try to stay calm, focused, and determined. It will take some time, but when your life is at stake, it is worth it. Stay safe, guys.
What to do if you're duct taped to a tree and you're bound by your legs and your hands behind your back. All right, first, we're gonna need, in this situation, we're gonna try and, we can't really do what we normally do. We're trying to make a tear basically in the duct tape. So I think the only method here is to actually use the tree for heat and friction. So however you want to do that,
It's gonna take time, but we can also move your wrist back and forth and try to create some space so that we can get at least a thumb out, because once we can get the thumb out, then we should be okay. And at the same time, just keep working it. It's gonna take time. Again, my feet are bound, so I can't really use those as leverage. Kind of. At the same time, obviously, because your mouth is not bound, if it were, it might be a little bit harder, but I want you to start yelling help. Scream for help. Try and get as many witnesses as possible, because this might take some time because your hands are above your head and behind you. But just keep working your wrist back and forth, trying to make some space. I got it. You may not have any arm hair after this, but that's okay. Got it. Okay, now we gotta work on getting our, if you can, tear it with your hands. If not, I'm gonna try something else. Ready? I'm gonna try and squat. There we go. Whew.
If you're zip tied to a pole or a railing, such as this one, here's how you're gonna get out of it. You're wearing running shoes. I'm gonna try and take my lace off and actually use my lace in order to create heat and friction that will allow the zip tie to snap off. So I'm gonna have to get my shoes untied for a second. And I'm gonna feed one lace through it. Might take some time, but remember, you're only gonna do this if the opportunity presents itself. Remain calm and determined. Now that I got one lace through, I'm gonna pull the other lace through here and make a knot. Try and stay calm and focused. Okay, I'm gonna tie these in a knot. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do one big thrust. Ready? There we go. And now that that one's done, we can do the same thing. All right, I'm gonna do it with this side because the other one's tied in a knot. You can try, if you have any nails, to undo the locking device that's right inside here, but if that's not possible, it's okay. We can use the same method and it'll go a little bit quicker this time because one of your hands is free. All right, so we're gonna take this and this, put it together in a knot. Okay, and again, one big kick, and it should come off. Okay, ready? There you go.
I'm getting a lot of questions about being duct taped to a chair with several layers of duct tape on my wrists and ankles. I always say it's all about technique. First, I try by punching out at the elbows to try and create some slack or a tear. If you can't tear it, just keep trying to create some slack so you can get out without the tear. As you can see, I slid right out because I was so sweaty. Try the same method on the other side, or even use your teeth to try and tear it. Once you get your arms free, then work on your legs. You can either squat down, or if that doesn't work, use your hands to tear it open. Yes, it's a lot of work, but when your life's at stake, you just have to keep